Some crimes fade with time. Others refuse to let go. Years pass, memories blur, and evidence disappears, yet the questions remain. More than 75 years later, the case known as the Black Dahlia is still talked about, still debated, and still unresolved. Not because we know everything about it, but because so much of it remains unknown. In January of 1947, Los Angeles was a city built on dreams. Hollywood promised fame, opportunity, and a fresh start. People arrived every day, believing their lives were about to change. The city was growing fast, filled with ambition and hope. But behind the bright lights and movie sets, something darker was quietly unfolding. That month, a young woman named Elizabeth Short was found deceased in an empty lot in a quiet neighborhood. The circumstances were unusual and deeply troubling. The discovery shocked the city. Within hours, police arrived and sealed off the area. Reporters followed soon after, and before the day was over, the story had spread far beyond Los Angeles. Elizabeth Short was only 22 years old. The newspapers gave her a name that would follow her forever, the Black Dahlia. The nickname was dramatic, attention-grabbing, and impossible to escape. It quickly replaced her real identity in the public eye. Before that moment, Elizabeth Short was simply a young woman trying to build a better life. She grew up during difficult times, moving often as her family searched for stability. Those who knew her described her as quiet, polite, and hopeful. She wanted more than what she had known growing up. Like many young people of her generation, she believed Hollywood could offer opportunity and possibility. Instead, her name became tied to one of the most famous unsolved cases in American history. From the beginning, investigators believed this was not a random event. The location where Elizabeth was found raised immediate questions. The scene suggested planning and intention rather than chance. Details indicated that whoever was responsible had taken time and care, as if the discovery itself was meant to be noticed. As news coverage grew, public interest exploded. Newspapers across the country printed Elizabeth's photograph. Articles were written daily, often filled with speculation. Some reports exaggerated details, others focused on rumors instead of facts. In the process, Elizabeth was often portrayed in ways that did not reflect who she really was. The pressure on police increased with every headline. Then, the case took an even more unsettling turn. Newspapers began receiving letters from someone claiming involvement in the case. Inside the envelopes were personal items connected to Elizabeth, items that had never been publicly released. The sender appeared to be closely following the investigation, responding to coverage as if watching from nearby. These messages caused fear and confusion. They suggested the person responsible was not hiding, but paying attention. It was as if the case had become a performance and the audience was the entire nation. Police responded by launching one of the largest investigations Los Angeles had ever seen. Hundreds of people were questioned. Tips came in from across the country. Every lead was examined, every rumor explored. Some individuals confessed, but their stories did not hold up. Timelines failed to match, details changed, evidence was missing. Each promising lead eventually collapsed under scrutiny. As time passed, progress slowed. Witnesses moved away or passed on. Forensic science was limited by the standards of the era. Records were incomplete, and many details could no longer be verified. Gradually, the case went cold, but it was never forgotten. Over the decades, new theories continued to emerge. Some believed the person responsible had specialized knowledge. Others suspected someone who knew Elizabeth personally. Writers, researchers, and investigators revisited the case again and again. Books were written, names were suggested, Arguments were made, yet none could be proven beyond doubt. The Black Dahlia case became more than an investigation. It became a symbol, a reminder that even the most publicized cases can remain unresolved, that truth can slip away, not because it never existed, but because time erased the path to it. Today, more than 75 years later, no one has ever been officially held responsible for Elizabeth Short's death. There has been no arrest, no conviction, only theories. And that is what continues to haunt this case. Elizabeth Short was not a legend or a headline. She was a real person with dreams, fears, and unfinished hopes. Her story matters not because of how it ended, but because it remains unanswered. So the question still stands: who was responsible? And how did one of the most well-known cases in history leave behind so many clues, yet no clear answers? If stories like this matter to you, stay curious, share your thoughts, and help keep these unanswered stories from being forgotten. Because sometimes, when justice cannot speak, awareness is the only thing left.